When the Voron hegemony's sickle-shaped fleet slid past the Moon and in a high Earth orbit, their tactical arrays performed a standard threat assessment. Golden reticules highlighted the primary power concentrations below: the dense military-industrial matrix of China, the fortified metropolitan hubs of the European Union, the deep siloed command networks of Russia. Data streams cataloged arsenals, troop numbers, satellite networks, energy signatures. The planet, designated K-77, was statistically quantified, understood, and deemed manageable. A standard pacification. Then, the Fleet Logic's Central Intelligence registered an anomaly. A significant landmass, rich in resources and infrastructure, returned no strategic data. No highlighted missile bases, no command and control missions, no centralized military grid. The designation read, North American Coalition, Colloquial, America, Threat Assessment, Negligible. Catalog error suspected. The Voron commander, a being of cold silicon and colder logic, processed the discrepancy. Rescan. The result was identical. The territory was a ghost on their tactical displays. A malfunction, the second-in-command buzzed, or a primitive region of no consequence. They opted for communication, not immediate bombardment. A holographic projection manifested simultaneously in every world capital, a towering, insectoid form of chitin and blue light. We are the Voron hegemony. Your world is annexed. Compliance is optimal. Resistance triggers systemic deletion. They watch the predictable responses: panic, defiance, frantic mobilization in the highlighted zones. Then, the commander offered what it believed was a gesture of merciless clarity. Your strongest have been quantified. Your defeat is calculable. We note one region presents no measurable threat matrix. America. This confirms its irrelevance. They engage in conflicts but lack the will to conclude them. They are not warriors. They are participants. In the war rooms of the highlighted nations, the American feeds went dead. Not jammed, not interrupted, voluntarily terminated. While Beijing, Moscow, and Brussels scrambled fighters and powered orbital defenses, Washington executed something called CICADA protocol. It was not an attack. It was an erasure. Every surveillance satellite with American ownership winked out. Military comms dropped into pre-digital, landline silence. The vast, constant electronic hum of the continent. The internet backbone, financial networks, media streams, dimmed to a whisper, then nothing. To the Voron sensors, it was as if the entire landmass had been surgically removed from the 21st century. The electromagnetic profile matched that of the 19th. The galactic fleet observed this with analytical disdain. Catatonic shock, the tactical AI concluded. A non-participant civilization in its death throes. They reallocated their focus, their formations tightening around the bright, noisy, defiant targets in Eurasia. The lack of a threat from the Western Hemisphere was not just confirmed. It was weaponized against Earth's morale. Look, the Voron projection seemed to say, even your own allies have abandoned the fight. They have accepted their irrelevance. The fleet relaxed into a posture of contemptuous siege, energy capacitors humming as they prepared to burn the shining cities of the relevant powers. The first sign was not a weapon, but a sensor ghost. A derelict NASA probe, Voyager 3, declared lost a century ago in the Kuiper Belt, suddenly pinged. Its signal was not SOS. It was a resonant frequency, a single pure note. Then another, Pioneer 12, a decommissioned Air Force weather satellite, a dead commercial telecom hub, dozens, then hundreds of forgotten pieces of junk, each officially listed as defunct, each secretly retrofitted with a minuscule, dormant singularity core, activated in perfect, silent unison. They did not fire lasers. They did not launch missiles. They became a distributed array of gravitational spoilers. Micro black holes, artificially sustained and precisely tuned, flared for a nanosecond. The effect was not destructive, but disruptive. The fabric of local space-time was momentarily, violently, stitched. The Voron fleet, relying on flawless gravitational navigation for their formation keeping and FTL calculations, was thrown into chaos. It was not an attack on their ships, but on the rules of space. One cruiser calculated a jump that should have taken it 10,000 kilometers. It translated 2 meters, materializing inside its sister ship. Another, attempting to evade a non-existent projectile, found its inertia reversed, slamming it broadside into 3 others. The majestic, precise formation degenerated into a silent, slow-motion metal carnage of confused physics and colliding hulls. Panic, a biological impulse the Vorin had engineered out of themselves, was reintroduced by broken logic. On Earth, the other nations watched in stunned silence. Their own powerful, visible weapons were useless, their brave defenses suddenly sidelined. The war was being fought not with the weapons they had advertised, but with the physics they had hidden. From the profound electromagnetic silence of North America, a single, unencrypted, omnidirectional transmission pierced the chaos. It was a human voice, calm, almost weary. Vorin hegemony. You made a critical error in your assessment. You looked for the fist, not the trap. You scanned for the shout, not the silence. We didn't target you. You targeted yourselves. You navigated into a cage made of your own assumptions. The message looped. The Vorin commander, its ship crippled, its logic shattered, attempted to order a retreat. But retreat required a stable navigational constant. The gravitational lattice created by the Awaken ghost probes made consistent FTL calculation impossible. They were stuck in a bottle of twisted space, knocking into each other, unable to flee or fight a visible enemy. One by one, their drives failed, their systems shorted out by recursive spatial paradoxes. There was no brilliant explosion, no fiery planetary bombardment. The mighty fleet simply unraveled. It became a drifting, helpless scrap field in high orbit, its power fading, its threat extinguished not by superior force, but by superior understanding. In the aftermath, the galaxy's intelligence networks scrambled to rewrite their files. America was not added to the list of military powers. An entirely new category was created: ambient tactical threats, ATT. Definition: civilizations that weaponize perception, leveraging strategic invisibility and environmental manipulation over direct force projection. The other Earth nations, humbled and bewildered, demanded an explanation. The American president gave a brief address, not from a war room, but from a simple wooden desk. For decades, she said, we built monuments to our power where everyone could see them. Then we learned a simpler truth. The most effective deterrent is not the weapon you fear, but the weapon you don't see coming. The strength that announces itself invites a challenge. The strength that hides invites a second thought. From that day, the name America never again appeared on a standard galactic threat matrix. It didn't need to. It existed as a permanent footnote, a silent axiom in the tactical manuals of every spacefaring species. Beware the quiet corner of the battlefield. Beware the power that chooses to be overlooked. For it is not assessing you. It is waiting for you to assess yourself. And in that pause, in that moment of arrogant calculation, the trap was already sprung.